Hello everyone, this is Sam, your #1 favorite Ranger player, now here today to do a little bit of a review of the new elite specialization for the Ranger class, which has been named the Untamed. While the name might sound a little bit tacky, I am looking forward to the specialization a whole lot because I believe that so far Ranger is one of these classes that has gotten shafted. We don't do quite too well in the game, but I will be doing a review of the current state of Ranger after having watched the trailer once, and then we'll do a deep dive into that trailer, posing it as we comment.
Ancient forces of nature dwell within Echovald, and the Untamed have learned to channel them through the bond they share with their pets. Their earth-shaking hammer blows keep enemies dazed and off balance, while their pets' attacks are bolstered by raw primal energy. The power of nature flows back and forth between the Untamed and their animal companion, empowering their killing blows.
Right, so we've looked at the trailer once. I think that it is a pretty average showcase of what we can look forward to. Not much has been said and not much has been truly shown, so we will get more information on the elite specialization probably on a guild chat this Friday, and then we'll actually get to try out the specialization further next week. Now what I would like to say before we take a deep dive into the trailer and look at what they're saying about the class, I'd like to remind people of where Ranger stands right now. So as a matter of fact, the specificity of Ranger when it came out at launch was that it brought spirits alongside itself. So the spirits are a way of buffing your team that is quite strong. Initially they were following the Ranger around, and now instead you cast them at a fixed location and can move them to you by using their skill a second time. Ranger at the start of the game didn't have much damage, and it only started shining a little bit later as we got some more spongious health point bosses, and these bosses actually were dealt some very good damage by the Condi Ranger. Heart of Thorns brought us the Druid specialization, which became the first healer of Guild Wars 2. Very strong healing capabilities, alongside the fact that the special mechanic of the class, the Celestial Avatar, brought a way to further buff your team, and that was great. However, this soon turned out to be an issue for the more casual players, and Arnanet decided upon nerfing the class. We got some very specific buffs removed, such as the one from the Glyph of Empowerment, which was quite strong, and we also got the removal of Grace of the Land, which was the unique buff that the Druid was bringing to the players. Then the only reason why you would pick a Druid over another class would be for the spirits, because they are a nice DPS increase, as well as for the spotter buff, which is a precision increase for the entirety of your party or squad. This is often taken into account when doing the calculations for hitting 100% crit chance, so it is most of the time taken. Then with Path of Fire came the Soul Beast, and the Soul Beast is truly a DPS spec for Ranger. And the way it works is that it has access to a wide arsenal of power and condition damage options, with there even existing a hybrid build in between both. Since the Soul Beast can bring the spirits as well as bringing some very high quality damage, it is sometimes taken over a Druid in a squad, and then the healing would be left to some other classes that can output higher numbers when it comes to the raw healing powers. With this said and done, let's now have a look at the trailer a second time, and we will pause it as we go in order to explain what we can look forward to.
Ancient forces of nature dwell within Echovald, and the Untamed have learned to channel them through the bond they share with their pets.
the first thing we can say about this specialization is the fact that it seems to have some AoE damage, which is something that was sorely lacking from Ranger, which is usually seen as being a single target DPS. So this would be a good thing. It would be even better if the auto attacks from the hammer were somehow also able to hit multiple targets as you do the chain. It would be even better if it had a little bit of a cone AoE or a circular AoE.
Their earth-shaking hammer blows keep enemies dazed and off balance.
So here we're actually being told that this class will get access to some crowd control. This is not something that Ranger has been lacking throughout the ages, with it having one of the best traits when it comes to crowd control in the form of Moment of Clarity. Now, I do not think that it is something too crazy on the class, yet it's gonna be important as more and more players getting better at the game realize the importance of managing a CC bar.
While their pets' attacks are bolstered by raw primal energy.
This is also one thing that I am looking forward to, because when it comes to the pet management, the core Ranger only had the ability to go fetch pets and then assign them to attack or defend and wait for them to use their skills, with there being a specific way to trigger their skills as you would swap the pets. Now, Druid made no difference when it comes to pet management. The pets that we got a little bit more of would simply do their things as usual. Path of Fire brought the first special abilities when it came to the pets, because you could now merge with them and use an extra 3 skills on your skill bar. This was also great when it came to boosting your stats and dealing additional damage, as well as bringing some utility in the PvE and World vs. World game modes.
The power of nature flows back and forth between the Untamed and their animal companion.
The original Ranger mechanic had a way of moving stuff back and forth between you and your pet with the we heal as one, the shout healing skill, allowing you to copy the boons back and forth. This was actually very interesting when it came to self-buffing in the middle of fights, but it wasn't anything to write home about. This here instead looks like you'll be able to cycle some extra damage buffs between you and your pet, and if you have some good management of your pet's cooldown, and especially their more damaging attacks, maybe it would be a good way of landing super high damaging blows between your pet and yourself. We'll have to wait until we see some further demonstration of the specialization before we can further speculate on that matter.
Powering their killing blows.
As I just said, it's all about empowering the killing blows. Here they did a demonstration with a tiger pet, which is known to have a very high damage attack on its F2 skill. This is one of the things that I am actually interested about, if you can move that buff quickly enough to your pet to use it on their best damaging skill and then bring it back to yourself. It's also going to be quite interesting to see Ranger players play with a pet again, because most of the damage players were using a soul beast so far, which doesn't require you to have any form of pet management. So this is yet another thing that is going to be really fun when we get our hands on the spec. I'm very happy about what is being shown in this trailer, because they're putting forward the release as of February 2022. This means that we are certain to get it by then, unless of course a major issue happens at the studio. I personally am looking forward to playing the specialization on the next beta weekend, as well as on the final beta event. With this said and done, I believe it is now time to end this video. I'd like to thank you, the viewer, for having gone this far in the video, and if you're still around, maybe you would consider supporting me via the Patreon, which link is in the description, or if instead you're still looking into buying Guild Wars 2, be it the core game and the expansions, or maybe just grabbing a key for EOD, there's also a link you can use in the description that will directly support me and this channel. And now, I wish every single one of you a lot of fun when it comes to the next beta weekend.